watching Hamilton on podium after everything this season made me really understand what it's like to be a Vettel fan. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to F1Talk. And hey, before we get into it, happy Father's Day to all you great men out there who raise some children and were good dads. We appreciate all of you. So, happy Father's Day. I mean, we celebrate Father's Day here in the U.S. I don't know if we do in UK or other countries, but if not, we're going to take this moment to appreciate you guys. So, happy Father's Day. So today was the race in Canada, the GP in Canada, and
since 2019, I think.
2019?
Yeah, 2019. Yeah,
and Hamilton got a podium. Thank God, finally.
Like the F1 car finally on Hamilton's side.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie though, it would have been nice to see Alonso like on podium. To be 100% honest, I'm an old school Alonso fan, you know.
Yeah.
But good for Hamilton. Good drive by Sainz. Good drive by Verstappen. No criticisms across the board to the podium guys. Honestly,
no criticism at all. Just a fun and chill race, I have to say.
Yeah, surprisingly chill. I don't think there's any sort of offensive statements that I can make right now.
No, I was just like getting ready for the record. I'm like, shit, what am I gonna say today? There's nothing I can say other than Hamilton on podium finally, and George Russell finally have beaten by Hamilton.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's true. I was not looking forward to any of the Hamilton haters going on about Russell outdriving Hamilton if he just lucked out behind the safety car again and ended up in front of him. But that is something that Joe and I were talking about. Like, the guy is constantly racing in completely clean air. There was one point in time in the race where he was 8 seconds behind Hamilton, and I believe it was Ocon who was behind him, or I can't remember who, but he was 10 seconds back.
Either Ocon or Alonso. Yeah. Either Ocon or Alonso. Yeah.
So, I mean, I said to Joe, I said, the guy must be bored. He's always in this situation where he's completely racing in clean air and he has no battle to make, like, whatsoever.
He has no one in front of him. He has no one behind him. He just stand there by himself, driving, like cruising around the circuit. Literally. So that really, if anything, was my biggest concern. I would like to see Russell have some battles, and I'm sure. I mean, I'm very critical of the guy personally because of this. We just haven't seen a Checo Perez race trying to hold back Hamilton in the last, last race of the season kind of moment where it's just, you get to see why he's actually in F1. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm critical of the guy. You just haven't seen any battles. But aside from that, props to Leclerc. Leclerc started at the back of the grid. Gained he earned a lot of plays. I don't know.
I don't remember his finishing position.
I think it's 6 or 5. So P5 or P6. So he gained a lot of positions. But Red Bull is DNF again for.
That's something we can talk about. Reliability issues for this race.
Yeah, the Red Bull and Ferrari's reliability issue is just up and down and up and down and up and down. So it was like
it's getting to the point that is very dangerous for them because the reliability, even though their power unit is fast, the speed, straight speed is fast, but if you don't have the reliability issues, I hate to say it, if you don't have the reliability if your power unit is reliable, you might be able to finish the whole season without changing anything. But now they are changing like what power units and power units.
Yeah, and
So yeah,
it's very interesting you say that, because another thing that Joe and I were talking about during the race was just the 2022 car concept fundamentally
yeah,
seems flawed. You know,
Yeah.
from top to bottom, where the teams are not able to develop reliable power units. If it's not the power unit, then it's the aerodynamic package. If it's not the aerodynamic package, i.e., dealing with porpoising, they're having to run the cars so stiff in order to maintain the ground effect. And we were promised more head-to-head racing, and we were promised more sort of battles. We're not really seeing that. We're
No.
seeing DRS train after DRS train instead of wheel-to-wheel racing.
wheel to wheel, right?
And when you combine that with the spending cap that has been instituted in a year where there's whole brand new technology that the teams need to figure out, the season feels a little underwhelming.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for me, because if you think about the budget cap, then you think about the new technology, like you say, the teams needs to put a lot of time to adapt into that technology, and then you somehow have to use budget to limit their imaginations, limit their ability to utilize that technology.
Yeah.
Which is, and budget cap is not only for development of the car, but transportation, shipping,
Yeah,
all
which
that
is
stuff.
the logistics are insane.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. And we were talking about the new Formula One car is just a fail because, like, because FIA trying to intervene with the purposing issues, but they're trying to raise up the ride heights, and so that there's no purposing, which is weird because if you raise up the ride height, then you compromise performance.
And you get rid of the whole point of the new design, which is
The ground effect.
downfire.
Yeah,
So it's
yes. It's, I don't know, man. FIA is FIA, like we said before. They're just, I'm pretty sure when they develop the new concept Formula One car, there's no such thing as purposing, because they don't even have the actual car on the track to see, oh, there's actual purposing.
Well, even I remember at the beginning of the season, even the teams didn't see it. They were actually surprised when they went out for testing, because even the simulators didn't
see it.
Yeah, didn't see it. And I just think it's a limitation of the simulators. I don't think that they can fully simulate the full physics of what's happening with the car, with how, you can do CFD to see where the arrow is, but then you're not putting in the suspension into the CFD analysis and how the two are interacting.
Right. I think for me, I'd rather see the whole Formula One grid, the regulation change, and maybe even implement more testing, more testing of the sections, so that everything can figure out it's like, for me, it feels like teams are figuring out for FIA what the car can do.
Yeah, in large part, I would agree with you there.
Yeah. And it's not like FIA give the formula, which is Formula One. FIA give up the formulas and then let the team follow. But no, it's the other way around. Right now, it's like FIA designing the car, but it doesn't work. So the teams have to use their technology to figure out why it doesn't work.
Exactly. I don't know. All I know is so far this season is I've definitely dozed off at
So many
almost
times.
every single race at some point. Today I was definitely more with it. I had a great for our viewers who don't know me personally. I average about 4 hours or so of sleep a night. I don't have great sleep kind of tendencies, but this particular race, I was up for it until the last 5 laps, because the last 5 laps, you're hoping to see some last ditch effort, some last ditch, when you watch, for example, Valentino Rossi in MotoGP, the last few laps were always the most intense where the battles would happen. Not in F1, and that's on some level what we were promised, that we were going to have stuff like that this season, and it's just not happening. And I agree with Joe that I do believe that we need some modification to the regulations for, at the very least, next season. I mean, it may be too late to do something to salvage this season in particular. But I agree with like Hamilton and a few of the other drivers that say, okay, the bouncing, if not the porpoising, the bouncing is really rough on the drivers. You're having blurred vision while going 300 kilometers an hour heading into a braking zone, which is
Oh my god,
insane. I don't know, again, how many of you guys have genuine experience driving, but I have, and I have driven cars with incredibly stiff suspensions over very, uneven pavement surfaces, and it is terrifying to try and hit a braking zone when your entire car is doing this. I know, granted, I've never been competitive in my driving, but I do understand the fundamental risks are exponential when you get into an F1 car. So we have that issue, and if it's not the bouncing and porpoising, issues, then it's the reliability of the power plants. So it's and you, for all of you who want to say, well, look at Red Bull. They are having no problem with the bouncing and the porpoising issue, and they keep on getting podium after podium. Look how many DNFs they've had as a team this entire season. Really?
Like Red Bull,
look
like
at
those
Ferrari. Same thing. How many DNFs?
Yeah, and it is a few races that both of the cars retire.
Yeah.
And even Ferrari, both of the car retire, and the what is that called? The team that used Ferrari power unit also retire at the same race. It's like, come on, FIA needs to do something. I mean, I think it's too late to say it, but FIA and the regulation needs to change and need to make the race better. I was even thinking maybe they should probably modify the new era concept Formula One car, because
completely.
the ground effect is just not working in terms of the ground effect is working, but there's a porpoising issue, and then easily that will last like 1 second. It's crazy in a race. 1 second in a race is really bad.
I can't remember who it was in our comments. I apologize if you see this and hear this, but they actually said, and they pointed out, and it's true, we've tried going down the pathway of ground effects in F1 before, and it didn't work then either.
No. Yep. Nope, it doesn't work.
And that commenter is right. Generally speaking, you have to make some form of compromise, whether it be ride and suspension control, or aerodynamics or what have you. And I just, from what I've seen this season, I'm not convinced that there is a suitable way forward with ground effects. I think it's a nice fantasy. I think it's a nice, it makes for cool looking cars with, less insane aerodynamic aids. But I ultimately don't feel that it's working out this season. Last season was far more exciting.
Last season, I miss last season's car, man. Especially the Mercedes. It's so fast and so stable. And this season just so slow and so bouncy. That's the opposite.
I honestly can't remember a race last season where my heart wasn't racing. My heart wasn't like pounding in my chest with anticipation and excitement for how things were going to shake out and the battles that did happen versus now. I literally, Joe had to mute me earlier because, like I said, in the last 5 laps, I just like so that for me sums up the result of all of this new formula and this new approach. It's not there. It's just not there.
It's not promising. That's the thing that's the last thought I have. It's not as promising as they think it will be, but
I'll throw it to our followers. Leave it down. I mean, I don't think this is a very offensive or very radical perspective, to be 100% honest. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. We do read all of the comments, despite us maybe not replying. We do read all of them. We do hear what you have to say. We do appreciate your feedback. We're still figuring out this whole engagement thing, but I personally have read every single comment. Joe has read like every single comment.
Almost every single comment. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Not everyone.
Okay, fair enough. But I would definitely appreciate to hear what other fans are genuinely thinking about this. And while you're down there, tell us what you think about my new headphones. I had to get some new ones. If you guys never got to see it, but this is what I was rocking before. Like, geez, look how
it's you need to it's time to change.
I needed some new ones. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm sorry we weren't so controversial. I didn't say get fired up and yell at anybody this episode, but it was a chill race. We can't
because it's just actual chill race. Like and again, happy to see Hamilton back on podium. Happy to see him on smile. And fight hard. That's it.
Yeah. And it was definitely nice to see, for me, Alonso back at the front and
Q2,
putting in a good fight.
P2 in quali is nice.
Yeah.
P2 in quali is nice. Yep.
Old school vibes, man. Oh, and man, watching Hamilton on podium after everything this season made me really understand what it's like to be a Vettel fan.
Oh my, that's
shots fired.
That is well said. That is really well said. And like Hamilton, Vettel, Alonso, the oldest guy on the grid right now, it's all struggling.
Too true. And so sad. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, and Daniel Ricciardo.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you in the next one. Peace.